Hello, and welcome to the instructional video on how to assemble your new Worksman Port-O-Trike. My name is Byron, and I'll be here every step of the way. Before we get started with the assembly, you should take a look at the owner's manual that came packaged with the trike. This manual has safety precautions, part details, and an explanation of everything we're about to do. You might also want to pause the video after each step because I'll be moving pretty quickly. Let's get started. The first step is removing our Port-O-Trike frame from the box and unfolding the trike. First, find the hinge that is located near the crank and unlock it using the quick release arm. Unfold the trike and relock the arm so that the bike frame is rigid. The next step is attaching the front fork to the frame using the headset assembly. In order to do this, follow these specific instructions. Lay one bearing, balls facing upward, on the cone attached to the fork. Slide the front fork tube into the frame tube, making sure that the bearing is sitting correctly. Place the other bearing, balls facing downward, onto the cone atop the frame tube, again making sure the bearing is sitting correctly. Thread on the adjustment cone all the way to the bottom and hand tighten. Next, place on the keyed washer by placing the key inside the slot on the tube. This is followed by the quick release clamp. Which is then followed by the keyed reflector bracket. Finally, place on two flat washers followed by an additional small black keyed washer and then thread on the top lock nut securely. The next step in the assembly is attaching the handlebars. First, make sure the quick release clamp we just attached is in the open position. Place the handlebar stem into the tube opening. After it is inserted, make sure that the stem end is aligned with the front wheel. When the stem is at your preferred height, close the clamp and tighten the attached nut. Next, insert the handlebars into the stem opening and place at your desired angle. Then tighten the nut underneath. The next step is to attach the brake levers. Depending on which type of Port-O-Trike you have, you can have either one or two brake levers. Both attach in the same way, by first unscrewing the nut so that the bracket is loose, then wrapping that bracket around the handlebars, and then re-screwing the nut to have it tighten. Finally, to wrap up the handlebar assembly, soak the grips in warm water and slide them onto the handlebar ends. Attaching the pedals comes next. The pedals are basically screws that simply screw into the pedal arms that extend from the crank. On each pedal face there is either an L or an R denoting which side of the bike that pedal is meant to be attached to. Using a wrench, tighten each pedal to its designated side. Next is the rear cargo basket. The first step is to lay the basket on the rear of the trike and line up the holes in the trike with those of the basket. Next, place one screw through one of the holes and thread it into the metal bracket only a few rotations. Take the other screw and do the same thing. Continue to alternate screwing each screw a few rotations until the basket is rigid and tight. In order to attach the seat, you must first place the seat post into the clamp underneath the seat itself. As you can see, you can change the angle of the seat. To find your desired angle, hold the seat post above the tube in the frame where it will belong. Tighten the clamp securely, and then place that seat post into the quick release clamp on the tube. Find your preferred height, close the clamp, and tighten the nut securely. The last step in the assembly of your Port-O-Trike is the reflector installation. The front and back reflectors, the white and red squares, are to be installed onto their respective brackets on the back and front. The wheel reflectors are to be installed directly onto the spokes. As you can see, the wheel reflectors have a groove in them that is meant to house a spoke. Then you are supposed to thread a screw over the spoke, sandwiching the spoke to the reflector, therein forcing the reflector to sit inside the wheel. That concludes the assembly of the Worksman Port-O-Trike. If you have any further questions or concerns, feel free to call us at 888-3-WHEELER or email us at cycles@worksman.com. Thank you, and always remember, ride safely.